All right, so we are live once again with another Paradigm Shift Radio After Party Hangout. So everybody here say hello to the internets with me. Go woo!
Hello, strangers.
What's up, internet? All right, and of course, this is following another epic global synchronized meditation that we did tonight. And this was something that we've done a couple times, and I would love to be able to hear what you guys thought of that experience. But yeah, so we sort of broke it up into two parts, and the first part was about. Oh, somebody's got the YouTube video, and then everybody here say hello to the internet. Who's got their video open in the background right now? Because that's always like one of the magics. Of course, this is following another realistic, yeah, that we did tonight. Yeah, just pause the YouTube thing. Perfect. Cool. All right. So yeah, we sort of broke it up into two parts. The first part, we were going through the forest, and then we flew off a cliff, and we're flying around, and then we went into a cave, and then we met a spirit guide, and then we were sort of talking with them, and then we went to this pool of water and saw some crazy visions. But I would love to hear what that first part was like for you guys. Anything that you got out of it that you wanna be able to share. Whoever wants to go first, by all means.
Well, for me, when I saw it was kind of like a pool of like this enchanting pool, and Archangel Raphael was there, and he was just kind of expecting me. And when he showed me the pool, I was just so stunned by it because it looked like a pool of light, and it was kind of like fairy dust and shimmering. And it showed me all these visions, kind of I don't know if you ever seen Charmed or anyone have a premonition, but if you know what it's like to have a premonition, it was kind of like a flash of information, all at once. And I saw myself getting over my fear of public speaking. I saw myself teaching, and I going into Reiki and healing, and I helped a lot of people just by being myself, and I was able to prove a whole bunch of people wrong and leave them in total amazement. Not to sound egotistical, but that's just what I saw, and it was just so breathtaking. And there were these crystals, and then I was just up there with all the other teachers, and I was just wow. And it was fully enchanting.
That's awesome. So what did Archangel or Raphael, what did he communicate to you?
He said, don't fear what you're able to do. And he said, you're meant to be a healer without a doubt. And don't fear if you'll fall or if you'll fail, because God and I will be right there to catch you if you make a mistake. And he said, you're meant to heal a lot of people, and you're meant to teach a lot of things, whether you want to believe it or not. But it's in you. It's in your blood. It's who you are. You are a healer. You are put on this earth to help heal others and to expand the consciousness. The world needs you. People need you. Society needs to be healed. Everything about the world is so corrupted that you are here to help heal and spread love and light, because not everyone has a big open heart like you do. And what makes you special is you know pain better than anyone else, and it's your job to solemnly be a teacher and a healer and stop doubting yourself, because you are special and you're meant to spread this light and this love.
Very cool. See, that's the thing. Sorry, I'm just multitasking because I'm posting to Instagram right now. But that's the thing that I really enjoy about these meditations is that I know you guys totally have some super vivid imagination, and when we do something like this, it's always gonna yield something. You guys are gonna get something out of it, and it's so different for everyone. That's the amazing part about it. So does anybody else want to share what their experience was for the first part? Oh, it looks like Michael Pratt's here, I think. Michael Pratt, is that you? I think it's Michael Pratt. But yeah, if anybody else wants to share what their experience was with
Yeah, that's me.
meditation.
Peace, bro.
Hey, man. Uh-oh. Leia's here, too. Cool. Hi, Leia. Welcome to the party.
Hello.
All right.
Hey.
So whoever
I'd be
wants
happy to share a little bit about my experience.
Yeah, go ahead. By all means. What's that? Was that Matthew? Who was saying that?
Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Matthew, yeah.
So yeah, I really liked what you just said about imagination, and you also mentioned that in the meditation, and it's something that I've been like thinking about and writing about. I have a page in my journal which was basically it says if we only knew what the imagination was, you know, if we only knew how powerful the imagination was, and we really hit on that in the meditation. And
We're going to bed. Okay.
I really appreciate
Make sure you blow that candle up before you come to bed.
throughout the meditation. It was really nice,
Yeah.
making it more real and more real and more real.
Yeah.
And yeah, like entering that cave was something I had done in previous meditations. Something similar to that. It was a cabin in the woods, but like creating that void for the universe to fill with information. The difference you were talking about between like projected thoughts and received thoughts was very clear when I would ask a question, clear that it was received rather than projecting or like intentionally thinking. And it was really, really great. And kind of the information that I got was essentially to trust that I'm already on the path and to stop second guessing it. It just like the reassurance that I do already know what I need to do and to stop externalizing power. So yeah, thank you so much. It was really beautiful. Still all tingly.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Who was you were saying earlier, who was your guide that you met, or your guardian?
Oh yeah. If you don't mind, I don't really want to give the name, but
Yeah.
it was basically in the previous meditation that I had done, I met what was the position of the guide was sort of a gatekeeper, and the role is to determine what energies are able to interact with me, like so like if I'm walking around kind of unconscious, which happens, we all forget, sometimes more frequently than other times. If I'm not conscious, then the role of this guardian is to block like anything that doesn't have my best interest in mind, basically, from interacting with me energetically. And so that guide was there, kind of present. I could feel the presence sort of like behind my left shoulder as I was entering the cave, as I was meeting this guardian. And the guardian was sort of this the meditation we just did tonight was like in a white hood with kind of like red zigzags on the edge of the sleeves and like on the edge of the hood. And took the hood off, and it was kind of like a younger version of myself with sort of like more pointy features, more like animalistic features. And essentially this was like my free spirit, like my potential to express whatever needs to be expressed in the moment, and to be in that intuitive space, and to like recognize just to be free and open and clear and wild even. It reminds me a lot of the Tool lyrics, wide-eyed and hopefully wild. And so yeah, it was a really positive energy for me. I felt connected with a part of myself that had had always been around, but I wasn't really identifying with in a way. As much as we can identify with anything. And we just sort of like looked at each other and we were like, "Hi, it's good to see you again, bro." Like,
Yeah.
Kesh. And we sort of like, we like put our hands on each other's shoulders and like grabbed our heads and like put our foreheads together and we're like, like it's good to see you, and feeling that connection with that like free part of myself is something that I definitely want to bring into my 3D waking reality, and also and when we went into the pool, right? So like, what do I need to know about what I'm doing here, pool? it was sort of one of the main things was I just need to like let that out and give myself permission to be that, and in doing so and interacting with people from that space, give people, like everyone, permission to be that and express that. And I mean, as I've been doing that in my own life lately, it's really incredible how the universe responds to our intentions.
Cool, cool, awesome, man. Thank you for sharing, dude. That's really cool. Yeah, and like that's good that you've like already had some experience doing similar meditations, like you said, with your cabin meditation. So
Yeah.
right on, awesome. All right, we'll pass the talking stick around. Who else would like to share some of their experience from the first part of the meditation, like either talking about their guide that they found, their guardian, or like what happened when you guys like went inside the pool? I'd be curious if anybody didn't go inside the pool. I mean, I know I left it up as a choice, but I imagine the majority of us like went in. Did anybody not go in, or?
Do you want me to do it?
What's that, Andy?
Want me to share my experience?
If you would like to, Andy, and then we'll keep passing it around. So go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just need to take a little deep breath in for a while. Whew. Basically, what I was doing is I was in the forest, and somehow I did bring some of my kids with me. And the thing is that we were riding on dragons, fire-breathing dragons. And so I told my kids, I'm going to jump off this cliff. If I die, it's okay, guys. Just move on without me. And so I jumped off the cliff. I was scared to death to do it. But then I was like, flame on! Just like, boom. And then all of a sudden I just started flying like the fire coming out both in my hands and my legs or something. And then I start flying all the way to this cave that you told me saw. And all of a sudden I walked in. It was very dark, like only a couple of fires coming up. Then there was this big giant door, and I knocked on it, and someone from right behind said, "Who's there?" And he said, "Well, just let me in. I am Andy." I just identify myself. I opened the door, trying to see who it was that you were trying to tell me that was looking for my guide. Turns out that guide was my lover, future lover. I didn't know her name, and she said, "This is your son right here," like with long hair, with white dresses, and she. And when you asked, told me like, let your guide be able to show you what you actually want, what you want her to do. And so I did ask her, and I don't know if I should speak about this at all, but she told me to strip her. And so I did, and she stripped me too. And like we were having a moment, having sex, then I get into the pool, letting all this crazy stuff going in, and then we fly to the horizon. She can made it out on the other side of this so-called dark hole. I don't know where does that come from. It's almost like the other side of the world in Pirates of the Caribbean. And then all of a sudden I was like, "Is this the heaven you're talking about? Is this what you want to show me?" She said, "Yes. I want you to bring all people to this very place. This is the place that we all deserve." And I said, "It is beautiful, but can you come with me?" She said, "No." She said, "I can give your son back now, and the rest of your kids is yours." And when at first I was scared, heartbroken. I was like, "But sweetheart, I thought you were supposed to come with me, right?" And then she's like, "Well, I had to stay backwards, wherever it is." And then that's how all the meditation started. It's like it was adrenaline the whole entire time.
Yeah, you said that your adrenaline was going. That's pretty interesting. If you were riding a dragon, that probably would have something to do with it. Cool.
It
Thanks,
was
Andy.
very impressive. Like the dragon, you know that like when I touched it at first, it was pretty. It was about to breathe fire on you already, but then whenever I touch it, like a lot of my kids were scared. And then when I touch it, it's like okay, it recognized me.
Maybe we can do that for a future meditation. Do like something where we like interact with like a dragon wizard or something. If you guys are into that. Dragon wizard. Cool. It's a real thing. Cool. Thanks, Andy. Okay, let's pass it around and get some other people to share too. So, anybody else who would like to share some of their experience? Brendan, welcome back. Michael's here as well. Leia didn't do the meditation, I don't think. Holistic.
I was there for the Guardian one you guys were talking about.
Oh, you were? You were here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Well, whoever would like to share, by all means.
But another thing, Skull, before I can mute myself, is
sure. Go ahead, Andy.
Be sure you give me some airbags or breather, please, because I need.
You're cutting out, Andy. It's something about airbags. That's all I heard. I think you're like too close. Yeah, there's a glitch in the Matrix, Andy. I think you get too close to your mic sometime and it blows it out. So just take a notch back. Or okay. All right. Okay, Andy. Okay, we'll pass it. Whoever wants to share next. Go ahead.
I'll go. So.
Go ahead, Brendan. Yeah.
My guardian. I had gone into a tree instead of a mountain, and so I went into the earth, and there was this, I don't know, it used to be like a place with an altar or something, but it was really broken down, and there was this person in like a soft clothed kind of black robe, but it looked like it was 20 layers, like it was huge. So I couldn't really like tell what was going on. And as I walked and approached, I heard like a voice inside my head, and I couldn't really explain it because it would take a while, but a lot of it was about some self-reflection I've been going through the past week and a half. And when she took off her robe, it was another reflection of myself. And so I had a bunch of interactions with different versions of myself. And it was very helpful for me to kind of put in perspective that I am still kind of doing things right. And connecting with the second meditation. I won't get into it yet, but all of it is very beneficial. Like, I haven't had meditation this deep before.
Cool. Well, thanks, man. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome. Yeah, like it was cool because like those of you, how many people here did the first one? Like the one that we did back in March. How many people have done that or were here for that?
Oh, I did that one. The Dragon Ball Z one?
Yeah. Michael was here for that one. A few of you guys were.
Oh,
yeah.
That was awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Because I mean, this is like, that's always there's sort of like a format that I think is like good. Like I said, when we can create that first part where we can create the opportunity for like creating a void for consciousness to fill, I think that's just like a really cool thing. But yeah, so who wants to share next about the first part of the meditation? Michael, were you there for the whole meditation?
The one you did today?
Yes.
No, I actually missed this one. I was downstairs in the kitchen.
Okay.
So I'll definitely have to check that one out.
Check it out and let us know how it goes. But yeah. Okay, so we have Holistic, and we have Leia, and we also have Nicole and Tyler. And if one of you guys wants to share anything, by all means, about your experience from the first part.
I will share.
Okay.
I don't mind sharing. So, to give a little bit of a backstory, my entire life I've been, excuse me, really connected to spirit and the energy world, and I have been a Reiki master for about 8 years now, and so I really know my energy work. And lately, the past, couple months, I've been working a lot on myself and things that I have, neglected to allow to surface due to my own fears. And I, the beginning part of the meditation, when we were going to the woods, I was like, oh crap, 3 of my most traumatic life events happened in the woods.
Mm.
So I had to face that fear because I knew the outcome would be worth it. And so, I went and did my thing in the woods, and I had a really hard time feeling safe in that energy. Even though I could hear your voice, it was very grounding, but I still felt very vulnerable. But, my meter stayed on the green. It flipped yellow a little bit, but it stayed on the green as much as I could make it stay on the green. And then we went into the cave, and I have this irrational, terrible fear of bats. And so I was like, oh crap, now I'm going to have bats, eating at my head while I'm trying to meditate, and I just can't have that. And then I saw Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is so random because I'm a Trekkie. I'm not even a Star Wars huge fan. I'm a Trekkie.
Wow.
So
Blasphemy.
I don't know why. I don't know why I saw Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I knew that there was a reason that I needed to feel the fear that I felt, and the reason that those things had surfaced for me. Which was pretty powerful. And earlier today, I had quite a profound spiritual experience, and it had me in tears, which is something because I don't like to cry. Anyways, Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't say a word to me. He didn't say a word. He just stood there in his, badass I'm a Jedi stance, looking all intimidating to me, and didn't mutter a word, but I knew exactly the energy that he was putting out, and I could read that. And I don't know how else to describe it, but the energy that the message that he had portrayed to me was just allow yourself to be loved. That was the biggest thing, that I needed to let down my guard and trust that the hundreds, thousands, however many people had participated in the global meditation tonight had loved me unconditionally, even if they didn't know me. It was a very powerful, unconditional love feeling. And as a healer, I have always had issues with working on everybody else, but completely neglecting myself. And so tonight's meditation was really powerful for me in allowing myself to be loved and to accept healing and, gratitude and this and that from everybody else in here. So all of that said, I have to thank you for the opportunity for me to face my fears and get through that with such a remarkable outcome. And for everybody else that has participated in that, love is the most powerful form of energy that we have, and to connect the deepest part of ourselves into that energy at the same time it was amazing. So thanks everybody for being a part of that experience for me, because it was pretty big.
Awesome.
That really spoke a lot and rang true to me, and I know how that feels. I learned that neglecting yourself is really bad because you can never really fully help and heal others until you focus on yourself. And it's really important that you learn that, because if you're an empath and if you're very extra sensitive, it's so important to kick back and, feel for yourself. Because I once had this psychiatrist tell me how do you expect to heal others if you're wounded yourself? How do you expect to be the example if you're hurting inside yourself? And
Right.
what you just said really spoke to me, and I feel you. Like, I've been there and I feel your pain. But, like, it's really good that you get alive out of this because it only shows you what you need to learn and what gets you there. And you probably already know this or not, but I'm just going to say this to put out there. With you having it like that, if I were you, I would focus on getting over that fear, doing a little shadow work, expressing why you have that fear, and then just look at as a third person. And then as a third person, observe everything how it is, what you learned from it, and so on. Because if you look back on it, the painful memories, yes, it's painful at first, but then after you look at it long enough with like a loving energy and loving towards it, then it slowly becomes light. And what I think you should do, since you're also a healer, I think it's also good if like you clear your energy, clear your mind, and try to be open and just be like, okay, I know this was traumatic for me and I know that this is hard, but I believe I can do this and I believe in myself.
Right. And I mean, it was a huge step for me, and I give myself the credit in doing that. Like, you know, I have friends and family members that get on me all the time about taking care of myself. And here's
Same.
Brendan coming in like, hey, do this. Go through your fears. Wham, bam, boom. Like, love yourself. I don't know.
Well, I kind of believe that the energy that's out there with the full moon is kind of putting us in such a position where it's making us face our own fears and looking at the darker aspects. So even though that it's full,
Oh, hell yeah.
yes. And so even though that it's full, it gives us really an opportunity for us to look at ourselves and be full ourselves and to kind of like connect with the energy. It can be healing or it can be chaotic. If it's one thing I learned about energy is you can transform it into anything you want. Energy is energy.
This is true.
And, you know, you can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. It's simple as that.
Pretty much.
And I know we just met, and this is probably weird coming from me, or not, but I really believe that you can do it, and I believe in you, and whatever you're going to set out to do, I believe you're going to accomplish it, and do what you have to do, and learn from it, and don't be scared at any experience that's life-changing. It might be nervous, but I know you can do it.
Thanks. That means a lot to me. And I'm sure you weren't just talking to me, but to everybody else watching.
Well, the message was meant directly to you, but if anyone resonated with that, it's also open to them.
That's awesome.
I
feel the love in this room.
Yeah.
I feel good.
Cool. All right. So passing the talking stick around, and yeah, and that was great, Nicole. Thank you so much. Like, it's been a pleasure hearing.
You're welcome.
From you, so that's cool. Would somebody else like to go next? Either just like about their first part of the meditation experience, or even just generic thoughts. Because I mean, I'm curious as to like what you guys thought of the second part too. To be honest, like I mean, from like sort of just it was a little bit tricky just because time was of the essence. Ideally, next time that just gives me like more emphasis on being able to allocate time differently, so we have more time to sort of transition in and out of it. But how did just going ahead? What did you guys think of the second part of the meditation when we were doing like our Dragon Ball Z stuff again?
I always loved that part. I mean, both were really good tonight. I got a lot out of it for sure. Certainly in the aspects of healing and self-healing. So yeah, I definitely was able to gather more energy, send it out, and hopefully keep it flowing.
Cool. Did you guys get the activation sensations?
Yes.
I did.
Yeah?
Yes.
I can tell you, I've never watched Dragon Ball Z, but oh my gosh, it was like epic. It was so epic. Like it was like soar up into the sky, your whole heart chakra pulsating, and like Earth had a giant aura of like green and white, and I was just like, whoa. And then like I had like all the angels around me, so all the angels were like gathered up behind me. Then was Michael, then it was Alora, Tony, and all my friends I know of, all my neighbors, all my family, and even complete strangers I've never even seen in my life. Like, we were just all gathered here, and I was just like, whoa. And like I was asking my angels, I was like, dude, who's doing that? Who's doing that? Where's that green light coming from? What's happening here? And then they were like that, and they were just like, that's all you, Deanna. That is all you. You breathe in. They were like, you breathe in, let the love out, think of everything that gives you love, joy, and pleasure, and then shoot it in green beams with the world. And I was
awesome.
And I was just like, wait, what? I was just like staring in like constant amusement. I was like, yo, there's giant green light beams coming out of my hands. What's going on here? That's cool.
Man, that's funny. I felt like something was going on. Because, I mean, I was in the kitchen.
You're in the kitchen. It's like, what is that?
Wait, you felt that?
I felt like something was going on.
Yeah.
But it's cool to be able to do that when you're awake and other people are in another state. That is really some.
I can tell you, Michael, like, you were like next to me, and you were kind of like, and I was kind of shy about what was going on. And I was like, I don't know, what am I doing? Am I doing it right? Am I doing this right? Like, what's going on here? And then, like, you kept pushing me forward, and you were like, come on, do it. You know how to do this. You've done this before. I was like, no, I haven't done this before. No, I haven't done it before.
I'll be right back, guys. Keep talking.
Okay. And
but I was in the kitchen.
But like in the meditation, you were behind me, and you're like, "Come on, you've done this before. Think about everyone. Think about your friends." And like you were like ranting on, and you were like, "Love you." Cracking up. I was just like looking at you, and I was like, "Are you sure, Michael? Dude, are you sure?" And so you were like, don't think, feel. And so like I just let my heart be my guide, and like it was kind of like all over the place. It was like green light everywhere, white light everywhere, indigo light everywhere. I was just like, oh, what is that?
Oh, wow.
And
don't think, feel.
Exactly. And like I was so surprised if like you don't feel anything, but like I was just shocked that all that happened, and I was just looking around at all the people, and they were like, "That's all you, Deanna. That is all you." And I was looking at the earth, and it was pulsating green light, heart-loving energy, and I was just like, "Whoa." And that's what happened.
So if I were you guys, I would say keep on playing.
Michael, it's your turn. Did you feel anything?
Well, I was in the kitchen working on a smoothie. I can share what happened while.
Like, did you feel anything?
Let me Okay, I wrote this down, so it's gonna sound a little bit, it's gonna be in words. I know how to say it. So this is what I was doing. Well, I guess you guys were doing that. So I go downstairs, and the energy is high, especially with the full moon and everything. So I'm in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, there's this Bible thing going on TV, and I go in the kitchen, and it's the whole crucifixion thing and everything. So my anxiety begins to go up. So I guess this is around the time when you guys were doing that thing, and I'm not panicking. I'm in control, but I don't know. I feel like I'm getting triggered, because when, like, I have nothing against world religions or anything. It's just when people are
Yeah, I feel you. Who
being
else?
really preachy, Okay, hold on. This is not gonna take long, but so I'm not panicking. I'm in control, but I begin to start taking multivitamins and iodine and certain things because I'm looking for things that's good for the pineal gland. Because I'm like, it's the best thing I can do, to raise my consciousness, So I start to look for those things, and I'm getting triggered, but I don't know what to do. And everything sounds so fear-based, it's sad whether that historically happened or not, but, I don't want to see, some guy getting nailed to, a cross or whatever, so I'm getting triggered. I began doing exercise. I begun doing qigong, began doing, kind of like some squats. I'm just kind of trying to raise the vibration, you know what I'm saying? And I began to take some more, some iodine salt, because I heard that was really good for the pineal gland. So it seems just like it's getting kind of super religious and preachy and stuff, and I would disassociate from my feelings, and basically just like when somebody doesn't want to deal with something or something, they don't know how to deal with it emotionally, they might crave chocolate, or they may, so I was doing the same thing, but I was doing it with iodine. And so from there, I did my best to stay centered and grounded. And as soon as Jesus was out of the tomb, okay, I was like, all right, it's over. Like, next episode, it'll be something after this, So as soon as he was out of the tomb, I was like, phew. Okay, I dodged a bullet with that one, but the thing I gotta say is that, but my mom was making a smoothie, and I started eating some pineapples and stuff. So as soon as I got my smoothie, I began to feel a lot better. But the thing was, why was that making me feel so, triggered? Why was that making me so, I have nothing towards, the Jesus guy or anything. Why was that making me feel triggered? But because I stuck with it, and I didn't allow it to really, bother me or upset me, I was able to go through with it, and I got a smoothie out of it. You know what I'm saying? So
That's great.
so it's kind of my, but that whole time you guys were doing the meditating thing, so I could feel something, and I could definitely see, because of me being in a different state and not being in the meditation, that definitely, it helps people on a level where they may not even be aware of it, So that's just kind of my awake meditation, I guess. You know.
Well, I would feel the same way. I don't know how I would feel if I walked into another room and I saw a scene like that on the television. I'd probably be pretty, jolted out of my loving, healing, Reiki sending, sort of vibe.
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
that stuff. It's like, okay, little bit of a shock. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just I do enjoy the teachings, the wisdom, and all certain things like that. But when they start getting into like the power and the control and blah blah, you do this, you don't do this, that's where you kind of lose me, you know.
Right.
But
well, I know, like, I mean, for most of, well, the beginning meditation for myself anyway, which was really good. I mean, I didn't speak for a while because it's been so hard to just like get back in the body and process what happened in the first part, which was like a big, meeting a guide for myself and also going through a lot of information that the guide was giving me, a lot of chanting, a lot of songs and music, which is something that I'm very, very much into because I use my voice and I use singing and songs to send out a lot of messages and healing. So that's what the guide was actually sharing with me, singing with me. Boy, I wish I could remember it because the songs are really great. Right. And it wasn't even in a language that I could understand. I'm like, okay, pick a few languages and maybe I can, grasp the ones that I understand, but nothing I can understand. I was like, okay, but it feels good. So I was
like in Klingon or something.
That energy. So I think what the guide was offering for me was maybe certain tones to either balance out my chakras or to balance out my energies, which did happen. And I think after that, I was able to take in more energy so I could heal for the second part. But for a while there, it was actually dealing with some anthropomorphic energy and, having wolf spirits and fox spirits. For a while, I turned into, more of the animal self and did a little bit of dancing. So that was, like, really cool. And I think all of that energized me so I could do the second half of our meditation. So it was really intense, but very hard to get back into the body and say, like, wow, because I'm still trying to assimilate it all. so I was just a little quiet, trying to just, like, okay, balance myself here, like, really, But it feels wonderful. Yeah. It was really very deep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though is I bet when came on and it was just like, my guys were like, go, there's a meditation going, and I was just like, I'm gonna stick around in the kitchen for a little bit and wait on the movie.
Yeah. Wow.
But if that does help anybody, I do think iodine is good for the pineal gland. So I definitely am up on the latest science on what helps the pineal gland. Or I try to be, at least. You got like 1,000 different things you can, like supplements and stuff you can take. Well, that may be a little bit of exaggeration, but.
Yeah, lucid dreaming, definitely. I know there's definitely a number of supplements for lucid dreaming and nourishing, and decalcifying the pineal.
Sun gazing is really good for that too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But you sun gaze, don't you, Brendan?
Not super regularly, but I do enjoy what it's about. Yeah.
It was,
Get my headphones back in.
One time I sun gazed, and then I was blow drying my hands, and the blow dryer cut out. I felt like my electric energy skyrocketed after I did it one time.
oh,
Shout out to Kat. Hey, Kat. Thanks for joining the party. Does Kat have a microphone?
I don't know if you guys can hear me at all.
I don't know. Can we?
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
There we go.
Cool. Kat, were you there for the meditation too?
Yeah, I was there for both of them. The first one was super intense for me. I was not expecting it to be that intense. I actually ended up crying for a bit.
Yes.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
Crying's good. But did you want to share
good.
anything?
Yeah, I actually took notes. That's I'll preface this by saying I didn't get to go too deep into the second meditation just because I was processing everything that happened in the first part. So yeah, where does it start with? I started off envisioning being in almost like an Amazon forest. It was really, really mossy, long vines everywhere, and my feet were in the mud, and I was getting in the ground, just like climbing around, acting like almost like a cat, like an actual cat, like a lion or something. And it was really cool. I saw a jaguar, and this is not the first.
Kat, you still there? Like cut out.
It was a falcon that was
Okay.
on the ground.
All right, keep going,
And,
Kat. We can hear you.
Oh, great. And so yeah, there was a falcon, and it was injured. And so I tried to get close to it, but I could tell that the jaguar was guarding it quite closely. So I kept my distance and just kept walking, kept checking up on it every now and then. In the cave, I think the cave was probably the most powerful part of it. Yeah, and the fun as well. Just going through these notes. I wrote so much. But it was really cool because I was walking through the cave and there was torches on the wall. I just took one of them and I walked down the corridor and saw somebody who was just like this hooded mage. And he looked kind of like an alchemist. He had this really long brown robe with this coat holding up what he was wearing. And he had this satchel. I couldn't really tell what was in the satchel, but eventually he actually took something out, and it was like a powder, or maybe it was dust or sage or something. He threw it over me, and I kind of felt it like go over my face and my hair. And I don't know, it just felt like cleansing. It was really cool because at that point, this is way before you introduced that we were going to be met with water, or we were going to jump into a pool. But I was talking to this entity, and right when I was speaking to him, this basin just came out of nowhere. But there was no fountain. There was no water running through it. It was just like still water, and you could see my reflection through it, and him hovering over. But his face was covered at this point, and I was trying to figure out who he was. And it was definitely a male energy. What ended up happening was, instead of actually waiting for him to lift up his hood, I decided to just close my eyes and to try to feel the energy in front of him. So eventually I did open my eyes and his face was revealed to me. But during that time, before I did that, I stuck my hands out and
Cool. Who did? Sorry, I don't know if I just misheard. Who was your guide?
what he looked like.
Who was your guardian?
I don't know if he was my guide. Yeah, perhaps. I've never actually seen him before. He had like reddish blonde hair and really deep brown eyes. But it was really cool because while I was doing that, my mind's eye just revealed his face and what he looked like. And then I opened my eyes and it was that exact reflection. And yeah, it was really, really cool. And I went to the water. And the water is a really interesting thing for me because as far as I've examined up until this point, my birth chart, there's very little water signs. I think there's maybe like one slight water sign in it, but I just like lack it completely. And I've always had like this affinity for water, but also a bit of a fear of water. Like I can swim pretty well, and I took swimming lessons as a kid, but yeah, I've always had this fear of drowning. So it was really interesting because he was guiding me towards the water. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I should go in there just yet. I don't know. So I, gradually did it and stuck my feet in and eventually dived in, but didn't fully submerge myself. And it was interesting because you kept saying the water is actually water that you can breathe in, so there doesn't really have to be that fear tied to it. So I went in, but while I was submerged in it, I kept having this awareness coming to me that felt very fearful, and it was like, you're gonna drown, you can't breathe in this water. And for me, that was like almost a metaphor for life and grasping to different experiences of pain, and being able to remember to just be able to let go and ease into that experience, which is really cool to come across. Yeah, after that point, it was really interesting also after that point because I could hear his voice while I was in the water. And I was kind of swimming around, seeing different things and all these amazing colors and all these intricate patterns. And I saw to the left side of me, there was this tool. It was almost like a small sword or a scepter. And I picked it up and I held it in my hand and I was kind of playing around with it. And he kept saying to me, he said, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for any of the power you may have abused in your past. And this might have been tied to a past life or just even in this life, any sort of mistakes and troubles I've encountered. And once he kept saying that, tears just came flooding. And it was just such a beautiful thing to hear. And I got out of the water and we both looked at each other really deeply and he just like nodded and I nodded back at him with this acknowledgement. And then as soon as that happened, we kind of just faded out. Faded into the wall, and then the wall opened, and that's where the cave opened up again. Yeah, that was it.
That's awesome.
Really cool. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Was there anybody else who wanted to share? Leia, did you share you were there for the first part?
Yeah, I'll share a bit. Sure.
Sure, yeah.
When I took off from the cliff, I like instantly turned into a bird instead of like being myself with wings. And when I got to the cave and walked in, it was like a bunch of like blue crystals lighting up the walls, and on the ceiling there were like planets kind of like scooping down into the ceiling, and kind of like spirals that were like coming out of the wall and then like sucking back in. And I walked towards stairs, and I was standing at the top of the stairs when you said there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, like follow that. And so I slowly started going down the stairs, and when I got to the bottom there was like a one big eye. And at first I thought that was the guardian, but then I stepped through it, and then in front of me there was like the guardian, and he lifted his head, and it was a bird with one eye, and like feathers on top of his head kind of like rippled up, and like kind of told me that everything is always like changing, like continual transformation and like changing. And then in front of me on the ground there was like 3 gray soft pebbles, and then around the soft pebbles like a teepee of sticks rose up, and out of the teepee of sticks was like a green leaf came out, and then around the TPO sticks was like a bunch of other sticks kind of set out like an auditorium, and I was getting like the feeling of like community like centered around something, like some, I'm not sure what the teepee represented, but it was the pebbles might have been like, you know, values or something like that. And then he like extended roots out of his heart that like connected with mine, and he was sending like positive energies and like minerals back and forth. And then when you told us to like go into the water, he was like behind me with his wings spread out, and I just kind of jumped in. Like water's something that's always like really seemed really cleansing to me and like my dreams and stuff, and it was kind of like gooey, and I could move my hands through it, and I could breathe, and over top of me like this dome formed, and like the 7-point of came down around it, and then a piece of like flat rock rose up underneath me, and I was sitting in the meditation pose, and then a tree sprouted out from my head, and cherry blossoms grew, and then the petals fell off, and I looked up at my guardian, and he sent out those roots again to me, and he also gave me a seed and like sent me a seed and told me to swallow it, and like I was kind of hesitant, but I swallowed it, and then it went up and planted like in my third eye, and then it grew roots that attached to the tree. And then before you told us to like come out of the water, I just like the rock like rose me. Oh, and before that I was transforming into a bird, so I was like growing feathers out of my skin and like grew a beak after I'd eaten the seed, and I grew talons, like white feathers of like the goo, and I would like lie back, I would lie on my back, and I was just lying there, and then I think I just got up and like stood in front of him when you started talking again, and yeah, I looked in his eye, and it was like blue, like opal, like pool, like swimming in his eye, and then like we hugged, and like I told him that I told him like my secret or whatever, that I'll try and like live true to myself or whatever, and then I left and like walked back through the eye, and then you cut out, so I just kind of like continued my journey on my own, like back to the forest, and like woke myself up. But yeah, it was cool. It was like my first kind of experience doing that, and it's real. So thanks.
That's awesome. Cool. No, thank you too. That was like, I mean, I could tell you guys, like, holistic, I could see you were enjoying that story.
Definitely. Well, I mean, I love that. First, I'm so enthused with water element and have a lot of water element, so that was really, you know, good to hear such a positive thing with the cleansing, and I love all the trees and just everything. That sounds like an astounding meditation to have.
Yeah, I'm a water sign, and like I've had a lot of water in my dreams lately, and like I actually had a lot of water in my dream last night, which was really interesting. Like when you brought up like jump into the pool of water, I was like swimming in my dream last night, and yeah, I wrote it all down. Like it was pretty special. Yeah. It was definitely like the strongest astral experience I've ever had, which is cool.
That's like really cool. I mean, just for being able to be a part of that, because like it's interesting, guys, because like for me, I would have to go back and listen to that recording as if it was someone else in order for me to get my like own experience from that. Because like since I'm sort of like playing a different role, my experience of it is different. Like I can't I'm unable to get like as deep in the same way because I'm vocalizing and I'm talking and everything. And like even when we sort of like get into that space where I like stop talking, like I sort of like I'm slightly there, but at the same time I'm just sort of like I'm not. I could be deeper if it was like approached differently and stuff. But I mean, yeah, like that's really cool to hear that story, Leia. And that was like really like psychedelic and super visual and everything, and like and just like you talking about it allows me. Like I like what you're saying, like even just like what you're talking about, like going into the cave and seeing like the planets kind of like on the ceiling and stuff. Like I could kind of see that. So among other things, but yeah, no, that was cool.
Yeah, that you like.
Yeah.
I like the stories that you make in meditation, even at Paradigm Shift. Like they're way different than any kind of meditation I've ever like thought about, and kind of like very video game-esque, like Zelda almost. Like when we like saw them out and like went towards it, and I made stuff. So it like makes sense. It like resonates with me because I like those kind of like experiences and like otherworldly stuff. So
yeah. Well, storytelling is like such a key thing. So cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm still like open to getting better at it. I mean, storytelling and like my voice are one of my gifts. So like by doing that, it allows me to like get more. Yeah. What I was gonna say, I'm gonna have to go to sleep at some point, but I'd love to hear what you guys thought, just in general, or even like from like the second part of the meditation, or ideas that you would think of for like future meditations, or anything that you guys want to talk about, really.
Well, I think it's great because we all have like the DBZ sort of experience, and that's really good. I think it's funny because I'll say that also with friends when we're doing meditations or I'm facilitating. A lot of times I'll use things we know, and familiar themes, etc. I mean, I can't tell you how many times people will sit there and I just break it down in Final Fantasy terms because I'm like, okay, we have Cloud, and people get it right away. So I think it's good that we're using something that's contemporary because it gets us where we need to go and we all understand it, and it's a great visual. And it's good to portray energy with a lot of colors. So, of course, what we're doing is we're sending out something that, I mean, I would use materia, say, okay? But everyone knows what that is. And that's why I'm saying it's wonderful when we're all sending it out. It's green energy, it's focused, and we can all just easily tap into it.
What would you guys want to see for like future meditations and stuff? Because I mean, like literally, like Michael and I were like talking about
I'm
doing.
sorry, Kat. I didn't mean to.
What'd you do? What did you do?
I accidentally muted her. I meant to unmute myself, and I accidentally muted her in the process.
I think she should be able to unmute herself.
Yeah, she should be able to.
Yeah. But yeah, doing more adventure meditations, because Michael was saying, yeah, like let's do more stuff kind of themed around like Legend of Zelda and stuff. So
yeah,
I got a few ideas. Yeah,
I felt like that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, because there is.
Maybe
there is certain.
Playing with time.
Playing with time.
Oh, time travel. Time.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not Zelda.
But we could maybe, do go into the past, go into the future, such like that. Play like that.
We could go to visit our other star systems. So I mean, like seriously, like the ideas are limitless.
I want to add something though.
Go ahead, Deanna. Yeah.
But with the meditation we did, like I really think like maybe next time we can do like a different style of healing meditation.
Mm-hmm.
But like I can tell you with the first round meditation, I have never felt so free. Like the last time I felt free was before the hospital. Yeah, and I
With the
went.
flying stuff, you mean?
No, it's like the running and the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've never actually physically been to a forest. And so like just like when you went into detail about like being astral there, and it was like like my whole body was tingling. It wasn't just my hands or my feet, it was my whole body. And it was kind of like a full out-of-body experience. And I was just like, whoa. So I think we should do like more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was
Yeah.
really cool. I really wasn't expecting it, and last time I did something like that, it was an accident.
I like the forest because you can kind of like pick and choose if you want it to just be as magical as like real life forest that you've been to, or like really expand on it. And it's kind of it's wide open, like because you can go into so much detail. Or like I liked the forest part. I was like in a really mossy place and like just like making chairs out of all the trees I was sitting on and stuff.
Oh
And
my
like,
gosh.
There's some really cool stuff that you can do with. See, when you say the Legend of Zelda, see, because to me with Legend of Zelda, that really opens up into the fairy realm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you done anything really like with?
Yeah, I really like that too.
Yeah, I would enjoy that.
Yeah. I also want to get into like sort of the idea of like creating things. Like I mean, imagine, you know, if I was like talking to you about just like being in the middle of an open field, and then like through just like your imagination you like bring like a tree up out of the ground, and then you like control how it grows and stuff, and you like create the forest. And just anything. We could like build like crystal cities and stuff. We could like, it would be like Sim City, the meditation on a crazy metaphysical level, and we'd be basically like practicing our abilities as gods. Is my point. So that
I've
would be
done that
interesting.
in meditations. That's a
That's what
wonderful.
happened during,
Kat, your microphone's kind of trippy.
I was
Try again though. Go ahead, Kat, when you can.
Use the force.
Use the force. Kat, just chime in or type a message in the chat if it's whatever. But yeah, it was just like weird echo or something.
That would be wonderful to actually create the atmosphere that we'd all be able to meet in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, add our own elements.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
we'd always have a visual to be able to tap into to send healing to each other, or, you know, as they do with Reiki symbols, like, okay, here's your symbol, you can concentrate
Well,
on energy.
that's actually part of what I got planned for future meditation. Working with the paradigm shift sigil would be
Excellent.
like something that I want to do. Like anytime people think of the sigil, they can use that to like send healing to the family. Use it as like a portal to like go through it and then like connect to it on like the astral planes. Because I mean that would be like another thing that we can get into is like through this practice, it can sort of be a segue into the potential for us being able to set the intention to like have shared dream experiences, like shared lucid dreaming, shared experiences. So I think this is sort of like stepping stones towards that.
That would be great.
Yeah. How many, for whoever's open to sharing, how many people here resonated when I was talking about the idea of like the cultivation of the sexual energy? Is anybody else like sort of working with that as well, and how that played into your meditation, if you noticed a difference or activation sensations or anything?
I testify. I mean, I definitely work with the cultivation of the things that you do. I mean, the chi, the ki. I mean, that's all sexual energy. So I mean, I notice when you cultivate that particular energy, you have a well. Things.
Mike, your mic's cutting out, I think.
Is it cutting out a little bit?
Only when you're talking.
Oh, okay. So
It's
yeah,
I think it's
like,
okay. Go ahead.
you may be able to do like more push-ups, or you may be able to do certain exercises a lot more efficiently because you are cultivating that energy instead of releasing it. So creative and artistic, and yeah. So, I mean, that's what.
Cool. Well, I'm getting pretty tired, guys. We can sort of wind down whenever, but
Dude,
you
how
guys
can you
have more
get
to talk
tired
about.
after that meditation?
Like I said, it was different. You weren't talking for 2 hours.
I definitely know how that is. Or singing for 2 hours. Yay!
Okay, Kat's back. Kat, did you want to try talking again?
Hey, Kat.
Oh my god, it keeps leaving.
Okay, you're back.
Yeah. Were we? I missed a bit of it.
Is it glitching out again?
I think so.
Kat, are you talking? If you're talking, like, type in the chat. Or try talking. Yeah, I think it's a little glitchy. Okay. Great. Kat, we can hear you, like, typing. Try talking? Maybe not. Okay.
Well, I think she's saying it's glitching.
Yeah, it's glitching.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, we can hear you though. Try talking. Or not. Okay. Well, we tried. Was there anything else you guys want to talk about, or any like intentions to put out there for the future in terms of meditation stuff?
Yeah, like I think that, by the way, the music that you put on kind of like threw me off during the meditation. So like if you could
Okay.
put like something more peaceful.
Which part?
The part where like the message, I was like, really? It's like the most distracting music ever to receive a message.
The like in the first part?
Yeah, in the first part.
Okay. Noted.
And maybe next time, you could make some like side notes, like if you have this crystal is good for this meditation.
Okay.
And I also think that like another good thing about meditation, besides getting everyone in the mood for it, just like, I think it should just all be healing all around. And better yet, invite the angels in here and have like angels surrounding the whole thing the whole time.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, not everybody believes in angels, though. So I mean, we have to find something for everybody.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking, because they're always there to protect us, I thought it would be kind of like welcoming.
Yeah. Cosmic friends or something.
Cosmic friends.
We'll figure out a name for them.
Adam angels. Adam.
The Avas.
Brendan, why do you look so tired?
I just had like it just popped in my head, Brendan, but I'm just gonna tell it to you, and I don't just you know reminiscent of kind of like Dragon Ball, but it has its own twist on it. Like kind of like the 7 Dragon Balls. How that summons a dragon, and then you get your wish. I think something like that would be cool.
Cool. Yeah, we can get creative with it. Okay. What did you guys, last question before we switch this off live broadcast, what did you guys feel that you learned, or what did you get out of today's broadcast? And maybe Kat, if you want to try talking again, go ahead now. Because we could hear you shuffling. And make sure you're not muted. Okay, that's weird. Okay, we can hear you though. So just talk loud.
Like a baby face. Okay, I think it's. Oh, now I see it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we can hear you. If you want to say something.
To get back to you on that one, I'm still processing quite a bit of it.
Does anybody else want to share then, just to wrap things up, what they learned today or what they got out of it?
Well, I know on my part, definitely receiving healing, as well as being able to send it out. So that, I guess the message for me was nourish yourself, feed yourself with energy, make sure there's enough there, it's balanced, then send it out in the most optimum way. So I guess that was the message for me. And also, vibrating the chakras for me, breath, dance, which was part of it for me, dancing. So basically bringing in that life energy, taking it in, and then having enough and sharing it.
Cool.
Full circle.
Awesome, thanks.
I learned how to keep my energy kind of in the moment while I'm doing meditation, outside my body tonight. Yeah. As for the total message of the meditation, I think I learned a lot that I've been kind of feeling anyways, and been getting signs from other places too. So it was just kind of another sign that I'm on the right path. So
awesome. Cool. Anybody else?
I learned to let my guard down, to let love in. I learned that to stop doubting myself, and when I stop doubting myself, endless possibilities are able to happen. But nothing's able to happen if I keep doubting myself. And so I just have to have some confidence that I'm not going to screw up, and that I'm not going to do anything wrong, because I learned that the more I thought about messing up, the more I actually am more probable of screwing up. So I learned that in having confidence on what you're doing helps the outcome big time, because not only it shows that you know what you're talking about, but it also shows that you take pride in what you do and you believe yourself, you believe in yourself to push yourself forward.
That's when you're jumping off the building.
No, not when I was jumping off, but when I was looking into the water, I was like, well, instead of me being so scared of what if I'm not the right person to do this, I started thinking, but I am the right person to do this. And, being in the waters really got me thinking. I was like, well, I'm scared and I resent public speaking, but If I start getting confident about it, and if I start getting confident about healing and all that, it will show that I'm on my A game and that I'm not messing around here. So, from what I learned, I got a lot of like learning that the confidence is the best thing you can wear. And I just learned that I have, in order for me to do anything and to push myself forward, I have to believe in myself and to stop relying on others to believe in me for me, because them believing in me is not going to fix it, because at the end of the day, it's myself, and if you don't believe you can do it, you're not going to succeed at that well. But if you believe in yourself, and if you look at it, and if you say, look, this is my purpose, this is what I'm here to do, and whether or not you believe in it, that is your purpose, and that's why you're here.
Cool. Thank you,
Like,
John.
like sometimes you just have to be pushed to the extremes in order to see what's in front of you. That's what I learned.
It was really beautiful.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if there's anybody else who wants to share anything, go ahead.
We know anyone that's familiar with the show Dragon Ball Z, that was the way that Gohan was able to defeat Cell when he believed in himself. That was the only way he was able to win. Goku's like, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. I don't know where you got in your head that there's something wrong with you, but you can do this. You know, and when he finally let it all go, he saved the world.
Cool. And Brendan posted in the comments, he said, thank you, that was heartwarming. So thank you too, Brendan. All right. Last chance, if anybody wants to share anything with the global audience, feel free.
I think it finally came to me what I learned, actually.
Go ahead, Kat.
So it's basically really about going deep within my own resistances that I've built up towards my own experience and my life and what I've attracted. And that was obviously felt through once I got in the water. And when I described that, it was just like not being able to breathe, but also clinging to different things, and how that was a metaphor for life in the sense that it was like grasping to pain. And once you stop grasping, once you stop struggling, you're able to just go afloat. And so that for me was really cool to see that while visualizing or while meditating. Just to be able to observe your own resistances, but not absorb them, and like having that clear distinction between the two.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I learned today that there's still like a lot of potential for us to step into, and yeah, like I'm excited about through helping facilitate this. It's like actually creating visceral experiences for you guys, and I'm unable to fully predict what will happen, but just by like putting forth the opportunity to create that space, it's like making a difference. So that's really cool. So thank you again, guys, for having such beautiful imaginations. So, okay, let's wrap it up then, and we'll say goodbye to the internets and all the people watching this. So, thank you once again, internet. Say bye, internets.
Goodbye, world.
May the force be with you.
All right. Peace out, guys. See you next time. Cheers.